Hey, Shalom. First, I'd like to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Akwakadash, Yahweh, who the world ignorantly calls God, Yahweh Shai, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus. I want to give a double honor to the apostles of great millstone who has taught me this truth. I want to give a peace and blessings to the I came across the four corners of the earth who teach this truth. And what's like to do? So it's going to be a quick video. Love when the video is edifying. Love only I can get something from this video. I'm basically going to a little bit about prophecy. Of what's currently going on now, in this current captivity that we're in, because indeed we are in captivity, contrary to popular belief, even with our people. They don't see, they think just because slavery was, slavery so-called ended, that, just because we're not in chains and bondage anymore, they don't think that we're still captive. They don't think that we're still, because they don't think we're still oppressed. Because truth be told, right? Yeah, we're not in hard bondage anymore, but the simple fact that we were left with nothing after slavery, that goes to show you, not only that, I mean, our people don't even know who they are. That's why you have, the mindset of the so-called black race, okay? The mindset of the so-called black race is poor, okay? It's poor. And that has a lot to do with the captivity we went through. Okay, I mean, you got to think, man. When you go in Psalms 83, if I'm not mistaken, it tells you that the heathen, they seek to destroy our name. They want to take our name away from us, and to take the name away from a people, you got to beat it out of. You got to try to erase the people, and if you can't, you beat it out of. Okay, so that means if they were caught reading the book. If they were caught reading scriptures, they were killed for that. Okay? Because they oppressed us so much, right? To where, I mean, we were damn near, it was beaten to us. Not just the language, but, their ways of worship and all that, so hard that our people still believe in it to this day, especially the so-called black woman. Here it is, we'll go and we'll break down scripture after scripture and give you scripture after scripture on top of scripture, right? Answering any question that you might have, and we'll answer the question, make it plain as day. Okay, and yet you'll see it and still reject it. Yeah, that's right, but something about that ain't right. Well, if it's right, it's either it's right or it's wrong. 2 + 2 is 4. You know what I mean? 2 + 2 is 4, no matter how you look at it. Right, and you ask a 2 + 2 question, we'll give you the answer, and then well, I don't see it that way. I don't see it. See, and that's the problem with the majority of our people. But it stems all the way back from captivity, and not just the so-called black people, but the so-called Latino people, Latino tribes as well. Okay, yeah, those so-called Latino tribes got it bad. I mean, what does scripture say? Ephraim is they're given into idols. Okay, you go into a so-called Mexican house, you go into a so-called Puerto Rican house, you go into a so-called, Guatemalan house, whatever, right? You go to these houses, or Dominican houses, you go to these houses and you see what? Nothing but idols. Okay, you don't see the worship of Yahweh while Yahweh Shai in the house. You don't see any Hebrew writing in the house of these places. Why? Because they worship, and they're tied into that Catholic thing, especially these so-called Mexicans, man. They're Catholic, a lot of them. Okay, a lot of them are Catholic, and then when you go into that, man, they worship angels, they worship the Virgin Mary, and all that, and when you really dive deep into that, it stems back to wickedness, man. Okay, but notice that all their pictures and everything that they worship look like what? The enemy, because that was strategically done to oppress our people. Okay, it's a quote out there. It says, "He that controls images controls minds." So if they could control what you see for decades upon decades, right, you'll start to believe it is what it is. Like the majority of our people, believe that what they're being showed is the truth, and it's not. Okay, but we're here in the latter end. We're here in these last days with the truth, to give the truth and show you what it is and what it's not. Okay, we're here to break down, the callous that America has put on your mind, man. Okay, if the Lord opens your mind to be broken down, so to speak, from this Babylonian way. Okay, Because remember, 2/3 of Israel still have to be, they're going to be destroyed as prophesied. Okay, so we understand not everybody's going to get it, but man, we out here to get, hopefully it's so we can make it. Hopefully so we can make it. Okay, not to please men, not to, not to do it for vainglory. No, so because we understand what's coming, man. Those who are sincere, And if you don't feel sincere, and if you don't think you're sincere, or if you're doing it for the wrong reasons, and I believe you should change, man. And you got to pray to the Lord that, hey, that I'm not doing it to be praised by men. I'm not doing it to keep the camp leaders off my back. You can't do videos because of that. You got to do it for righteousness sake. Okay, you got to do it to receive salvation. You got to do it for Yahweh Shai, man. Okay, because you can't trust in men, man. Scriptures tell you don't trust in men. Put no trust in no man, man. Now for guidance, right? Because what does it say in 2 Peter? Let's get it real quick. If I'm not mistaken.